if Big John was in here, we don't know what we'll go off to. You don't know which John you're going to get, but...
If you're going to enter the sport with a new belt, you want to buy the best fighters.
And every time he rung me up to have a go at me, to slag me off about an article, I answered the phone.
Oh, did you?
And I took it, and I took the aggro.
Oh, you're hard.
Welcome back to Split Decision in partnership with DAZN. We had a weekend with everything. Revenge, redemption, maybe retirement, and a new world champion. So who better to break down all of that action than two men who have lived those lives at the highest level? The man with maybe the greatest retirement in British boxing, Froch, and the man who really grafted his way to his first world title in George Groves. We did have a third seat ready for today, Carl, in Big John Fury, but apparently your lawyer said we weren't allowed to have him in. Is that all right?
Maybe. I mean, if Big John was in here, we don't know what we'll go off to. You don't know which John you're going to get, but the other day, which obviously what you're referencing, it was just out of control. It made no sense. Yep. And when he came down the stairs shouting, "Where is he? Where is he?" I was kind of stood right in front of him, but just about to make my Netflix debut.
Hiding behind Lennox, weren't you?
Hiding behind Lennox, exactly. There was that as well. I felt brave next to Lennox, but I kept my mouth shut. I kept professional and thought that would cool him down and pipe him down a bit. But he went on for quite a long rant. And for what, I don't know. He's talking about me using his name on my YouTube channel to get some momentum. And I don't know. He's a very strange character, but he is a character. And I think if he was trying to promote the fight and bring a bit of attention to the sport, then he certainly does that every time.
George, you were the last man maybe to get into Cole's head and you made him cry, didn't you, I think?
Yeah. He's going to cry now, Wally.
Do you think John has got the same mind games as you?
Yeah, well, only time will tell, and Carl's got a lot more wisdom now, so maybe he can, bat away these antics of John, but I don't know. I'm intrigued by it, I've got to say. I've got to be intrigued by it, but yeah, maybe that's the fight we all want to see, Carl. Is it you and John? Would you relace up the gloves for that fight?
Well, listen, I'm not going to back down. If John Fury is serious about actually fighting, it's not going to be on the undercard of Tottenham. It's not going to be licensed or sanctioned by anybody. Mm-hmm. And listen, if he's serious, I'm not going to back down. That's all I'm going to say for now. And it's not over yet either, so watch his space.
Right, fellas, let's tuck straight into Leigh Wood and Josh Warrington. Carl, you was ringside, and I wrote a piece about Leigh saying he was so motivated and inspired by you, going to see you fight that arena, dreaming of doing it himself. He had you ringside to look over to. I don't think he needed you. I'm not really sure he got out of maybe second or third gear, hands down by his waist. A great performance, but I don't think he needed you.
No, he didn't need me. I mean, he'll never need me, will he, in that sense? But I know what you mean. I was there ringside. I was there supporting Leigh Wood. And it was nice to find out, because I never fully knew how much I inspired him. But he walked in the gym when he was probably 11, 12 years old. And I was probably about 20, 21. Just been boxing back in the amateur games. I didn't box from the age of 15 to about 19. Walked back in the gym at 19. I won 2 ABA titles. I was in an ABA final, lost that to a guy called Chris Bessie. Then I won the next 2 ABAs. I boxed for England. I won a medal in the World Championships. And then Leigh Wood came in. And I'm like World Championship bronze medalist, about to turn professional, and he's looking at me a bit starry-eyed, and he used that as motivation to train him. And we used to have some laughs in the gym and train alongside each other. So for him to be many years later talking about me as an inspiration, it's nice. But yeah, you're right, Leigh Wood didn't need any inspiration or motivation that night. I know what you're saying about not getting out of second gear, but he did have to work hard for the victory. He had to stay focused, but he stayed southpaw all night.
Yep.
He was countering behind the jab. He was throwing that body shot. And every time Josh got near him, it was 2-3 shots, then tied him up. The referee allowed him to tie him up because Josh was leaning in without throwing punches. So Leigh controlled the fight from round 1 to round 12. But it's hard to do that. I thought if he starts fading around 5 or 6, what Josh Warrington did in the last round 12, when he got close to him and started roughing Leigh up and pushing on him and leaning his head on him, if he'd have done that in round 6 or 7, we'd have had a bit more of a fight. Yeah. But we didn't really have much of a fight because Leigh Wood just did what he had to do, dominated and kept himself out of harm's way. I know he was marked up, he copped a few headbutts early. But it was quite an easy night's work for him, as an easy night can go in the boxing ring. And I was very proud of Leigh Wood. Great performance, stayed southpaw all night, picked his shots well. But without raining on his parade, Josh Warrington wasn't really at the races. I feel like that's probably the last we'll see of Josh Warrington.
Yeah, he did say himself. I think let's go and have a look at the action thanks to DAZN.
The old grudge, like Nottingham's hero Cole Froch and with George Groves.
No, I'll give you a mention, did he?
Ben times 2. There's no love lost between this pair. Blood from the nose of Leigh Wood and a left hand from Warrington. That will spur the Leeds Warrior on.
He's trying to hurt Leigh Wood. He's trying to let solid shots go. He's caught him.
He predicted an early knockout. Leigh Wood comes back, and both defences are leaky tonight, which makes it extra entertaining. So here comes Warrington with the combination. Body shot just gets Wood holding on.
Because you don't want to be pushing the pace quite at someone else's tempo.
Beginning to. But he's finished. Lovely, wonderful punch from Leigh Wood.
Powerful on the front foot. Good work. That right hook stunned Josh Warrington for a second.
Lovely combination. Good combination from Leigh Wood, who again looks relaxed after Warrington maybe had a better fifth. This is good from the Nottingham man, and Warrington looks frustrated as though he's trying to remember the old moves, and it's not quite there.
Maybe not the fireworks they may have hoped for, but their man certainly winning this contest with 20 seconds to go.
Warrington with a right hand. He's not done just yet. Any late drama maybe. 15 seconds on the clock. Warrington needs a huge punch. A miracle, really. The clock's going down. Josh Warrington smiles. He'll probably retire tonight. A great fighter we've seen. But Leigh got it right.
George, it takes a fighter of extreme confidence and ability to box with your hands down like that against a pressure fighter like Josh Warrington. A great performance from Leigh, but for me, that's a Josh Warrington that's come to the end now. He even said afterwards, mentally he was right, physically he was right, but he just couldn't find the fire inside anymore.
It felt like that for Josh Warrington. It felt like what he was doing wasn't quite working, and then he couldn't do anything different. Well, sometimes whether it just be changing it up, he's fighting with that high hand against low hands. I don't expect him to mirror it, because that's sometimes what you would teach. You do the total opposite, or you can mirror it to try and get a reaction. But he couldn't get the momentum or the tempo or the flow of the fight back in his way. And he had success. He landed some good shots, like at times, Carl. And you think, can he build from that? Can he come with maybe a second wave, or can he just put a dent in Leigh Wood where momentum can shift his way? But it didn't really happen for him. And it's quite hard to work out what that is. Maybe only he will know, he's in there and he's feeling it. Like he's feeling what he can't do or what's not working for him. Because when you're watching it, you think, sometimes when the guy with the high hands, he gets hit more than the guy with no guard. And why is that? And the fellow with low hands, he's just reading it better because he's in his flow. And you said off camera there, Leigh Wood, was he doing an alley shuffle in the second round? Like, that's half to display your confidence, but sometimes that don't just come out just because you're feeling good, and all of a sudden you're feeling like you're in your flow. And that's what it felt like all night, was just that he was almost one step ahead of Josh Warrington. And it was almost a shutout performance for me. I think Warrington got a round or so on the judges' scorecards, but it's tough for Warrington now. He's had a fantastic career. He's been involved in so many big fights. He's proud of what he's done. And he was left at the end of the fight scratching his head, it felt like, because it was almost putting it on him like, is this the last time we're going to see you? And he didn't want to say yes. He wasn't sure if the answer was yes.
His style means every fight's been a war. He's never been a knockout puncher. Even in his greatest wins, he's almost always had to go the distance and end up bloodied and battered. And that's without the 14, 16-week camps as well.
No, exactly. Well, the Lee Selby win and the Cole Frampton fight, you look at them and they're quality fights as well against world-level operators, really, especially in Frampton. Mm-hmm. And to go to the well like that, you have to not only have the physicalities, which he had. He looked fit and strong. George is right. He looked in good shape. He looked ripped and chiseled. Yeah. But that's only half of it, because as good as that is, you need it up there. Mm-hmm. And if the desire's gone, and the fact that he's not been in the ring for a while, so he's inactive, he gets in the ring a bit unsure. He knows he got flattened in that first fight, so he knows Leigh can punch. So he's boxing all the time thinking something will open up soon, something will open up. But walking forward with your arms tucked by your side of your head and your chin, like high defence walking forward, it's not enough. You've got to move in to range, throw in punches, and then go again. And he started to do it in the last round, started to put it on Leigh a bit, started to get rough, started to roll his head in and chuck him around and make the fight rough. and heavy because he could see and feel the final bell was coming. So he thought, I'll have a go now in round 12. But he would have needed that from round 6. And I don't think he would have had that in him for 6 rounds. 18 minutes putting the pressure on, walking through shots. Yeah. It's too hard to do at the end of your career. And like we said, we know Leigh Wood was slightly older, less miles on the clock. I think Josh Warrington, he gave a good shout for himself there. He did himself proud, but he didn't want to go out on his back, did he? He didn't want to get flattened. He's gone the distance. For him, it's a moral victory. I don't think we'll see much of him. But for Leigh Wood, who knows? Something exciting might open up for him. There's a couple of potential options for him. Well, what can Eddie Hearn do with him? Maybe take him over to America. Maybe
that worries me, George, because again, you were never going to retire until you won a world title, and it was a long, hard slog. And I'm sure you probably had people around you after the second failed attempt and the third going, George, maybe it's done. But with Josh Warrington, his dream was a British title and buying a car. Then he wins a world title at Elland Road, and all Leigh Wood wanted to do was fight at the City Ground. He overachieved so much. So when I don't call for him to retire, like I've got some influence or my opinion matters, but when you've achieved everything you've set out for, I don't know what he's going on for. I understand what you was going on for.
Yeah. As an ex-fighter, you never want to say fighter should retire or stop. Yeah. But I do worry for fighters at times, and Warrington will be one of those guys who I'd worry for a lot because of the height of his popularity that he experienced. Warrington's was built, from local, built out, and he would take thousands away. So there's a lot of responsibility that will come with that. And I think, at the end of your career, when maybe you start racking up a couple of losses, you might feel like you're starting to let people down. So I hope that he's got a stable life ready for him when he finishes boxing, something for him to get stuck into. A lot of the time it is ex-fighters working within the realms of boxing, whether that be behind the camera or whether that be back in the gym coaching. So maybe he could have rolled the dice at 6 rounds and gone for it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But don't at that stage, you're not living to fight another day, I don't think. When I lost to Carl, I was 25, so 10 years younger. It could come again, hope to come again. Yeah. At this stage, you've been involved in the big fights, the huge fights. If he does say that's it, I think a lot of people will be quite happy for him.
Every fighter is chasing. Josh Warrington, to me, is just chasing the perfect retirement. And they almost never come. What could be for Leigh Wood more perfect than that? To do it in Nottingham, because it's all very well saying go up another weight or try for a 3rd world title, but at 37 that's probably going to end in defeat, and then you're chasing the perfect retirement again.
No, exactly. So many fighters go on one too long, too many, and then they go on and they get destroyed in a final fight, and then they've got to live with that. We saw it with the late great Ricky Hatton. Even Nassim Hamed, he came back. I think he beat Manuel Calvo for a European title or something, but he finished his career on a bit of a down after the Marco Antonio Barrera defeat. And we see it with Tony Bellew, who got flattened by Usyk. All right, dared to be great, but he went out that way. And if AJ finishes his career, I know he's just done that fake pole geezer, he's not a fighter, but with the Dubois loss, it's kind of, how does it sit in your head? You kind of, as a fighter, I can understand, I want to finish on a win, I want to finish on a high. And that's what George did. That's what I did. Oh, no, you didn't. You lost. He won that world title. He finished on a loss, was it?
No. So I was ready. That was going to be my last fight, win, lose or draw.
Callum Smith.
So
that's your last fight. But before then, when you became world champion, you've achieved what you wanted to achieve. I feel if George never got that world title, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it'd have ever sat right with you. I don't think you'd have ever been appeased. You won that world title, and then you thought, you know what, I can earn a few quid here. If I get beat by Callum Smith, it's not a bad loss against a top fighter, and your shoulder was gone, wasn't it?
You went into the Super Series, your shoulder was gone, wasn't it? For the Eubank fight and for Callum Smith.
The last fight wasn't great, but you're saying six round, maybe Warrington could have got. And I remember in that Smith fight thinking, I can't be bothered to do 12 rounds. I'm gonna go for it a bit here. And I think I caught him. I think because it was a big fight for him, and because everyone thought I was a big puncher because I once dropped this fella. I think he was a bit wary. So I started throwing a few more right hands, threw one too many, and he hit me with a check hook, Carl, and that was the end of that. And then, but at least he didn't have to do 12 rounds. Do you know what I mean?
He's had some fantastic nights, Leigh Wood has. But I do just think with that performance, he's 12 round, like I said earlier, 2nd, 3rd gear, still having to concentrate, still having to focus, getting a few knocks and bangs. But for 12 rounds, he looked fit and strong, and he didn't need to roll the dice himself. He didn't need to go for any kind of grandstand finish because he could have walked into a shot. So perfect performance. at the right time of his career, for me to set up one more. If he can get one more payday, because he'll be looking at getting paid, won't he? He's had a couple of paydays, but he's not, like you said earlier, he won't be caked. He'll need to fight one more. If he can get a little swan song payday, a little testimonial, I'd be really pleased for Leigh then. And I think there'll be a few opportunities for him now he's won that fight. Have you ever had big comeback fights where you've been hurt?
I had Kenny Anderson fight where I got off the floor to win.
Was that British title?
Commonwealth title.
Commonwealth?
So yeah, my 10th fight.
I was sparring with Kenny for that one.
Was you?
Softened him up for you.
Did you?
Yeah.
You sharpened him up, I think.
He's a good little fighter, wasn't he?
Very good. Yeah. I mean, when I think about it now, it's
yeah.
probably a tough fight. I think it's only my 10th, and I won a Commonwealth title, but and I'd only beat Charles Adama. You think you had a life and death with Charles Adama?
Absolutely,
about 12 months before.
Ruined him before you fought him. Absolutely ruined him. I don't know why he was still fighting after our spot. He can be an hard fight, Charles Adama. But these sort of fights, 12 rounders, where you're struggling, you're behind on the cards, and then you turn it around and you come back and win.
Yeah.
They're the ones where you feel good about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's got the Jermaine Taylor fight.
Yeah,
Carl Jermaine
incredible.
Taylor. Like, all you got to do is you play a bit of...
Our first fight as well, that Jermaine Taylor one, but our first one.
No, that one was...
You don't like
that was
one,
in the bloopers reel, isn't it?
You're right. You're right about the finishing on a high or having comeback fights. And Leigh Wood's had a couple of them moments.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can retire. He could do, but I don't think he should retire on the back of this Josh Warrington win. I feel like he's got one more in him.
If you don't want to begrudge anyone to make money right at the end,
Yeah.
but I remember after Eubank beat Ben the first time, the kids, I remember thinking, how sweet would it be for Eubank to walk away and not take the money?
Yeah.
But he didn't. He took the money when he was completely shot, and he lost, and now he's going out on the loss. Yeah. So his bank balance is much more healthier. So it's each their own.
Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia on the big stage. Big statements made. Let's take a look at the key moments with DAZN.
That is one of the biggest welterweights that I've seen.
Oh, nice right from Ryan to start things off.
And that's what Ryan Garcia is going to need, that right hand.
And down it goes, just like that.
What a shocker. We knew that Ryan Garcia had an outstanding left hook. He just put Mario Barrios on the deck with a straight right hand.
This kid can punch. Can he take him out?
Ryan Garcia with one of the most electrifying first rounds of his life if he can finish the job here against Mario Barrios.
The fast hands of Garcia, because if he continues letting Garcia punch with that speed, he's going to be outnumbered now.
Again, Sergio.
These right hands are buckling Mario Barrios every single time.
Oh, he stepped into that one. The right hand is on point for Ryan Garcia.
Oh my God, same shot.
Barrios all over the place.
Yeah, he's been bothered a little bit and told him, throw it when you have to.
It sure doesn't look hurt to me. He's still swinging it.
As Ryan Garcia is about to become the WBC Welterweight Champion of the world.
WBC Welterweight Champion of the world, Ryan King Garcia.
Such a surprise, not the first round knockdown perhaps, but the punch it come with, because we associate Ryan Garcia so much with that left hook. He completely schooled him with right hands the whole time, which threw me a little bit, George.
Yeah, but he's a talented operator, Garcia. You know, you always wonder about his mental strength.
Yeah.
And obviously he's competing at the highest level, not just inside the ring, outside the ring at times. But he throws his shots together really well. You know, your hand speed's brilliant, but technically he punches correct. But yeah, you're always looking for that left hook, that fast left hook that comes and it does such devastating damage. But I don't know if he hurt his left hand in camp, and now he's been throwing a lot more right hands. He's figured out, do you know what? My right hand ain't too bad either. I mean, credit to Barrios for lasting the distance, I suppose, because after that first round, you're thinking he's going to be lucky to get through this round, let alone get through this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl, when someone who is as hotly tipped and regarded as a banger as Ryan Garcia drops someone in the first round, are you a bit disappointed that the fight still goes a distance? I mean, he won every single round. It was a complete shutout.
It was.
Should he be finishing that in the distance?
I don't know if he should be finishing it because Barrios is a tough kid.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's well schooled, trained hard. He can take a shot. I know he got dropped. A lot of it can be balanced. See a left up there landing on the screen, straight on the face of her. I talk about that hook, and that's the hook that usually finishes the opponent. Maybe he hurt his hand with that one, Garcia, but no, not disappointed. I was more enlightened and happy that Garcia was able to go 12 rounds at pace, show everybody that he's serious about the game still. He's a good-looking kid. He's a social media star. He's controversial. He's got energy. I like him. I like watching him fight. When he fights, I want to tune in.
Yeah.
I'll stay up to watch him fight because he's just interesting as a character. And like I say, he's a bit controversial as well. We'll go down that road, but then you're going down rabbit holes. But is a big character, and he's showed me now that actually he's serious about the game. So he's got a big future in the game. He's been around for a long time, but he needs to win a world title. He needs to defend it now and look good defending it. Yeah, but he's won the world title. But what I say is
he's cherry-picked that opponent.
Yeah.
Everyone has wanted to fight Mario Barrios.
It's not one of the big belts. It's not the big name. It's almost like, come on, get yourself a proper title, and then defend it against some big names, and then you've completed the game. Because at the minute he's got everything except for that Hall of Fame career, and I'm not bragging, but he's got you know the game. He's got Hall of Fame written all over him, Ryan Garcia. If he can close the show and defend his title for a few times, you know what I mean, and unify the division. But it's looking good. He set the tone there, Ryan Garcia, and put Barrios kind of on his back foot straight away. Yeah, which is good for him. I mean, great performance.
And if you rightly say that you want another stellar name or another champion in that division, then those guys who might have gone into fights with Ryan Garcia thinking he's just a left hook merchant, defend against the left hook and I'm all right, suddenly he's just really battered a fella, almost only using his right hand. So maybe we are now seeing a more rounded boxer who can shoot people with both hands, which if he's got the right mindset, I mean, I think maybe he still needs a coach or maybe working with his dad is going to work. But suddenly, he doesn't look like a one-trick pony. Suddenly, he's a two-handed horse.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a one-trick pony because he's got a solid left hook. Yeah. He's landing good right hands against all opponents. He does need the big names now. I mean, he's won that world title, but for me, I know it's WBC, it's a major belt. But for me, he's not a bona fide world champion with that win in terms of if you want to cement your legacy.
The whole build-up to that fight was the expectation that the winner would fight Conor Benn. He'd been made a mandatory challenger. How bizarre that was after 2 years not even fighting at the weight. But Conor wasn't there. He's done a different deal. If that deal can be revisited, Conor Benn, Ryan Garcia, how do we see that one panning out? Because on paper, that is what should happen next. Suddenly, is that's still not the big landmark name you want, though, is it?
Not for Ryan Garcia, no. I mean, Conor Benn against Ryan Garcia, I think Conor Benn gets absolutely splattered. I've got to be honest, I don't think he's got a chance. He's not there yet. And I've said it before, and he gets the ump with me for saying it. But who's he beat? What's he done? Who's his biggest win?
Chris Eubank.
You can't say it's a big win. This guy finished Eubank years ago. And Eubank's lost a couple of fights. He got battered by Liam Smith. And that's a level. It's like, what's Eubank done to warrant Conor Benn saying, I'm ready for world titles like this against this guy? I know he's just now become a new world champion and it'd be a good fight. But for me, I just think Ryan Garcia runs rings around him. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
He might have a new dream. He might have a better dream. If I'm Conor Benn, I'm probably looking at Garcia, though, as the one for me because it's a bigger fight than the Shakur fight.
Yeah. And more winnable.
And more winnable. So, it's more dangerous in some ways, but it's more winnable in others. And I think that's a fight that I would be really excited for, to be honest. Because I think Conor Benn, whether he's limited or unproven in certain ways, he's got an exciting style and he's good to watch. He's fun to watch. Totally. And he's coming off a massive high. He's a much better fighter now than he was a year ago, just through having those two camps, fights, the whole process against Eubank, performing on the highest stage, coming back from a loss to avenge it in a great way. And maybe it might be flattering because Chris Eubank was so finished. But I think the Garcia fight, I think it's a great fight, really. And because he's now done this deal with Dana White and Zuffa, does that mean it's not going to happen? I think it probably means it still happens. It just means it's going to be even bigger and the guys are going to get paid even more. I can't really see anything else apart from that fight.
I agree, it's a fight I'd want to see.
Yeah.
Conor Benn
I'd want to
against
see the
Ryan
build-up.
Garcia, I want to see it, but I just think it's a dangerous fight for Conor Benn, and I don't think he wants to be chucked in with a dangerous fight straight away. I think you need an interim fight at world level before you jump in with someone like Garcia.
But he's 29 years old.
He is,
An interim fight. He's never let him box. Should he box for the British title first for the first time?
I think he should have done, but he can't go back to that level now. So I suppose he's in deep water now, and he's just signed this big deal.
Yeah, he signed a big deal, hasn't he, Cole? I don't know what I can't know if it has been made public what the money is, but the money ain't for an interim sort of keep busy fight, is it? You'd imagine it's for something on the scale that his last fight was.
Yeah.
We're talking about a one-fight deal. They've paid reportedly...
Eight figures.
8 figures. So we're talking
£10
10 million, if that's dollars or pounds, whatever. It's still a huge amount of money for one fight. They're not going to chuck him in with a warm-up fight.
No.
He's got to fight somebody, and that somebody's going to be a Haney or a Garcia. The Barrios fight is pointless now.
Yeah.
That would probably be a good fight for him.
Listen, about this Conor Benn deal, it come out of the blue, really, I guess, Friday night. And by Saturday morning, Eddie Hearn is almost in tears, and his assistant, Frank Smith, the same. They're devastated that there's been a lack of loyalty shown. They very quickly admitted, despite denying it heavily, that they lent Conor hundreds of thousands of pounds. Now, they didn't lend him that money to give to Bernardo's. So I think the outpouring, or the apparent outpouring of support for poor old Matchroom and Eddie is a little bit ridiculous. Is that fair enough?
We live in a world now, or maybe we always have, of how you're going to spin it. Like, how you're going to spin it. And the first line that I saw was that Eddie Hearn had reached out to Conor. He said, "Can I have a phone call?" And Conor had denied him. And
you must know his number. Just ring him anyway, didn't you?
And you must, at this point, like, if you're not really paying attention, you think, wow, he's done this without Eddie even knowing, and then is broke. And Eddie's like, oh my God, I need to call my soulmate and find out what's happened. And he won't even answer the call. They would have been aware of the situation. They would have been aware that Conor's not under contract and that Dana White's saying it's like, I don't know, beating up babies. So he's going to steal his crown jewel, you know, and he's done it. Maybe Conor's PR could have been a bit better. Maybe he could have addressed it a little bit better. But Conor's was saying, I thank Matchroom. They got me through thick and thin. I want Eddie and the team to still be part of my journey. So he still wants them on side.
Yeah.
He just went for the more money option, and I don't blame him.
Do you think that part of his reason for jumping at the biggest money fight next is that he knows his level now after those two Eubank fights?
Potentially, and cashing. I don't think he's cashing out at his age. He's not an old man, is he? But if you can maximise income, because you never know, every fight could be your last fight. You never know what's going to happen. You can get a detached retina, and then your career's over. Potentially, anything can happen. If you can make an 8-figure deal for a one-fight deal, nobody can begrudge him of that. The way it was dealt with, we're getting sold different stories. There'll be, like I always say, there's 3 sides to every story. There'll be Eddie's version, there'll be Conor Benn's version, then
the truth.
There'll be a truth somewhere in the middle, and they'll both be trying to make each other look good. I thought Conor Benn's been quite classy with the way he's responded to Eddie Hearn. He's been giving Matchroom a lot of credit. He acknowledges that they've looked after him, and Eddie's going to be annoyed that he didn't get him under contract sooner. But if Eddie Hearn would have tried to get Conor Benn under contract, Conor Benn would have been looking at the contract and going with his lawyer and negotiating it. And then before you know it, he'd be asking for more money and maybe looking elsewhere. Well, what are my options? So Eddie's kept it safe, kept it, okay, I'm loyal, I've looked after him, we're friends. There's no friends in business. And Conor Benn's done what he's done, signed and jumped ship. You kind of can't blame him. And Eddie Hearn did the same with Sky over to DAZN.
Took all the fighters, didn't he?
You know what I mean? So it's business. And that's pretty much bottom line all there is to it. You can't really blame anyone. I can understand Eddie being a bit pissed off because it's Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh, and he was in with all that crowd. But he's kind of out of his league where Dana White's concerned. I mentioned it yesterday. He's got Donald Trump on speed dial. He's on about doing something at the White House. He's in with some big players. And where Dana White's come from as well, he was carrying Mayweather's kit bag years ago. Do you know what I mean? And now to be where he's at, Eddie Hearn kind of landed in a position of power, silver spoon job, going to school in a limo, not being horrible, but he's been gifted everything.
Not being nice.
Yeah, but I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying he's not come through any adversity.
Yeah.
So maybe this little bit of a kick in the stones will just sit him back a bit and go, hang on a minute, let me reevaluate. Eddie Hearn's a fantastic promoter. He's a great salesman. He's an extremely hard worker. There's a lot to admire about him.
Yeah.
He's not going to. This ain't going to finish him. It's just unfortunate that, you know, like Dana White said, stop being a baby. You could have matched the deal. You know what I mean? We could have negotiated it, but he didn't. He's telling us his version of it, and it sounds all down and depressed, and everyone's crying about it for him. But really, in reality, what's gone off here? They'd have had some emails, they'd have had a letter with a lawyer, there'd have been conversations about contract. Where are we? They'd have had to make sure they set the stall out before they say to Eddie, we're not working with you anymore, we're going to work with Dana White. So there'll be loads more that's going to transpire about this conversation. So we'll wait to see, but it's big news, it's really interesting. But I'm sure Eddie's not actually as bothered as he's making out. It's business, and he's a businessman. He knows the game.
And there would have also been boxers, and I know some, but I won't throw them under the bus by naming them, who have gone into a fight with a Matchroom contract, lost the fight, and the phone call don't come no more.
Boxing's a tough sport, a brutal sport. It moves on. The bit that I find fascinating is if it is what it is, Conor signed a one-fight deal, yeah? It's not like he's just signed a 7-year deal with that's going to definitely see him to the end of his career. So for Eddie Hearn to publicly go the way it's going, where it's about him versus Dana White, or, you know, Matchroom versus Zuffa. If it was one fight and you think, well, I'll keep Conor all right, happy, because he'll be back. He'll be back soon. If he loses, he will definitely be back. Even if he wins, maybe we could do something later on. So maybe there's a little bit more to it anyway. Maybe the promoters out there are going to have to pivot.
Can't be a one-fight deal for that kind of money.
And
also
also
some kind of future agreement with that. They're not.
Zuffa and Dana White's whole thing is no 50-50 fights. Everything's life or death. We do our own rankings. It's the best versus the best constantly. So Conor Benn...
He's got to fight someone.
He's got to fight. So Zuffa might have to go and get Ryan Garcia. Zuffa might have to go and get Shakur Stevenson. They might have to go and get Teofimo Lopez. They've got to put him in with someone lively. And if Conor Benn has just set fire to his entire relationship with Eddie and Matchroom and whatever broadcaster to walk away to all of their rivals, and not just other businesses, genuine bona fide rivals, then that next fight, he's got to win it or he's in no man's land.
That's why it don't make any sense that he's getting paid 10 figures for a one-fight deal, because you're right, he then has to fight somebody, and if he loses that fight, it's then the rebuilding process. So just waste a load of money. But has Dana got this personal vendetta with Eddie Hearn that badly, and they're not that bothered about that kind of money that they're gonna chuck it away at someone like Conor? I can't see it. You'd think that these guys have. We'll have to wait and see what transpires, but it's very interesting. It's a bit like a soap opera, isn't it? I mean, all the news and what Eddie's interviews and then what Conor Benn said. I say Conor's been quite classy with it. I'm quite impressed with the way he's dealt with it, but he has kicked Eddie right in the stones. And the main thing that's going to be hurt out of all of this is Eddie's pride.
Yeah.
Eddie's like, he's genuinely gutted, but he'll understand.
That won't be the last episode. That won't be the last fighter to jump ship, because what has happened is the promoters, British and American, have seen this Saudi money coming over and grabbed every shilling of it with both hands. They've opened the doors, let you show how they run shows, how they do events, how they do contracts, how they do agreements, how they do 2-fight deals, how they do rematches, how they hire Tottenham. They've taught this, they've shown this to this man with all the money. And to me, it looks like the fella's gone, lovely, okay, got that, right, yeah, Tottenham, yeah, 2-fight deal, contract, sweet-o. Cheers, boys, I'm off. I'll do it with this fella over it.
Yeah, do you think Turkey Al Sheikh's just on one big piss take, wind up? Like, it's just,
I don't know. I think he's completely overtaken an entire sport, which is what he was always planning to do. Why would he fund 3 or 4 other splinter businesses?
The way he's doing it is he's got to be a good crack turkey on a night out. He's got to be, because he's got Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, he's got Dana White. I've been out of him in Turkey. We're tight, but the way he's disrupted the sport and the way he's moving and the things he's done, I mean, I like it. It's good. It's good viewing, entertaining viewing. And Conor Benn now is in a position, which we've said earlier, where he's probably going to have to fight someone. So we're going to find out if he's good enough, which is great.
Ultimately, boxing is just an opinion, isn't it? You know, a world title belt means nothing until the champion who's wearing it.
Yeah.
You know, I had not to throw myself under the bus, but I had the WBA super middleweight world title. Mine was legit.
Yeah.
But then if someone else won it and they were a bit less known, and then Canelo picks up the regular belt, Canelo's the regular. He's the real champion. That super belt, throw that in the trash. So it's all about the people, all about the personalities. And I think right now no one can dispute that Jai Opetaia is the #1 cruiserweight in the world. So it's right. If you're gonna enter the sport with a new belt, you want to buy the best fighters. What year was it when WBO came in and did,
around
the WBA didn't really get any recognition until Floyd Mayweather had it around his waist. So I know what you're saying in that sense. No one really gave it the recognition. It was like the 4th belt.
Look at the IBO now. I mean, your friend Chris Eubank Jr. was a very proud.
It's not
IBO.
even a belt, is it? It's not a world title belt. The IBO.
But again, neither was the WBO. It does evolve that way.
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is that Zuffa were coming in to get rid of belts, and they've just added another belt to the pile.
Then we got 5.
There'll be 5. So, I mean, I thought we didn't need it. I liked the Ring Magazine belt, where everyone sort of felt like that's the #1. You don't pay sanction fees, so you want it just for what it is. Turki Al-Sheikh has it, and maybe that would have been enough. It's a lot more prettier than that Zuffa belt. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. Maybe it might grow on me. I don't know.
Dana White rings up and says, throw your belt in a bin, come over here and fight for me. I guess because you've already won it, are you happy to do that and go and get mad dough?
Even if you've not won it, you're looking at, okay, WBC, WBA, IBF, the 3 major belts. WBO, 4th in line. IBO, don't even talk about that belt, I'm sorry. But if somebody comes along and says, you're going to get X for this, genuine world title belt, but you're going to get 3X for this new belt and a new concept, and you're going to be an ambassador or whatever role Conor Benn's got now, because they're using his face for something and his name, even though, like I said earlier, he's not won a world title, he's not won an area or British title, he's still a big name in the sport. He's got big social media presence. Them 2 fights at Tottenham Hotspurs have made him this massive star.
Got blonde hair.
Got blonde hair now, yeah. You threw me there. But it's like, you're going to take the money because it's a business. We're prize fighters. Absolutely. And every single fight can be your last fight. So you just have to maximise it. And I'm not just talking about Conor Benn, but we'd take the money. You'd take the money.
It's a tough one.
I appreciate that. When fighters are honest to say it, and it's all very well when young fighters say, I dream of a British title, but it doesn't pay your mortgage.
No, but it's tough. Like, so my story is desperately trying to win a world title, trying to win one at the 4th attempt, yeah? And then straight after that, I go into the World Boxing Super Series. They're going to give you the Muhammad Ali trophy, right? They told me at the time, this is going to be the future of boxing. Everyone's going to be desperate to win the Muhammad Ali trophy, right? And at the time, it made a lot of sense. They've had every cruiserweight signing. They were having this one signing. If I had the choice at that point to not fight for the world title, but go in the Ali trophy and get a lot more money, and I won it, and then a year later it disappears, I can't sit next to you, Cole, now and get introduced as the former world champion. Yeah. It'd be as the former Ali Trophy champion. It's like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? And not saying that we don't, right now, it doesn't feel like Zuffa's going anywhere. It feels like they're going to be here forever and they might kill off the rest of, boxing. But maybe not. Maybe in a year or two's time, it doesn't happen. Maybe they just drop Zuffa and they do go back to the Ring Magazine. But then again, it might be like, well, Ring Magazine champion or WBC champion, WBA champion.
But if you come back to it and you've got a load of money, you're not that title now and Zuffa's gone down the pan, but you've got 10 million quid in the bank and you've still got your hands. Nobody can take them off you. You can fight again. You can go again. So Conor Benn's made the right decision and the money trumps everything. You know what I mean?
Did he make the right decision by not phoning Eddie Hearn to say goodbye?
Did that happen? Did he not phone Eddie Hearn?
Are you calling Eddie a liar?
I'm not calling him a liar. I'm saying other circumstances exactly. I've asked him for a call and he wouldn't have a call. Did you ring him up? Do you know where he lives? Go knock on his door. Conor, it's Eddie. Have you got 5 minutes, mate? I mean, is he really like, no, I'm not talking to you? He's probably thinking Conor Benn is. He's probably thinking, you've had the...
No, I've got to say, Conor's done an interview and he has said, yes, I refused the phone call because it was all like tension.
So before the phone call, he's probably had 2 or 3 emails from his lawyer. He's probably made his decision, signed on the dotted line for Dana White, and he's thinking, what's the point in having the aggro ex-missus when she's still crying? Do you know what I mean? Let's let her calm down. Let's get her over it for a bit, and then we'll have a cup of tea and a chat and one final little, you know how it goes.
Well, I had a very tough time covering Conor Benn's doping case, which he eventually won. And every time he rung me up to have a go at me, to slag me off about an article, I answered the phone.
Oh, did you?
And I took it, and I took the aggro.
Oh, you're hard.
But I think that's...
I know what you're saying, but He leaves it to his lawyer. It's probably is a bit of a shit house move. Sorry we'll have to beat that out, but it probably is.
Yeah.
Pick the phone up, have a chat. But
Yeah.
he's probably thinking, you know what, I can't be arsed with that. I'll talk to you in 2-3 months. Like he said, when the dust has settled, we'll have a chat and we'll all be friends.
Right, that is the final bell. Huge thanks to Carl Froch and George Groves for joining me. We'll be back with the biggest fights only on DAZN in the next few weeks. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to Sun Sports YouTube channel and stay across the latest boxing right here. We will see you next time.